Tennessee Titans fans, I have been told that the Tennessee Titans are mentioned in this video right here from Rich Eisen, listing his top 5 sleeper teams for the 2024 season. I have been told to check this out because I have been told that the Titans are mentioned. And I don't know if they are mentioned as one of the 5 teams or if they're just kind of, in passing, like, oh yeah, then there's the Titans. You don't want to sleep on them. But I do know Rich Eisen has said in the past, sleep on the Titans at your own peril.
Gentlemen, I have a top 5 list for you.
Elegante.
I have a top 5 list for you.
It's not Andre
I
the
like
Giant.
Rich.
Top 5 list for you. Top 5 NFL sleeper teams for 2024. Hit it.
High five.
Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4,
This will be
5.
interesting.
Rich's
Top 5
top 5.
Okay, so
And there always is a sleeper team, by the way. I mean, Houston was a sleeper team last year. Nobody expected Houston to even be good, much less to do what they did.
got to be a team that you're not talking about to do very well this year. Sleeper team. And it's got to be a team that didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
How's that for?
I like those.
Okay.
I like those
Okay.
caveats. Yep.
Those are the that's where I'm that bin from which I am picking a sleeper team.
I like it.
Makes sense.
Number 5 on this list. I like the Las Vegas Raiders to be a sleeper team. Nobody's thinking about it right now. Aiden O'Connell, by the way, if you look up the Raiders depth
I may
chart,
as well give commentary on the other teams too. I don't hate that as a sleeper team because they're in rebuild mode. I know they've got a new head coach. I'm iffy on Pierce, the new head coach, but Gardner Minshew is probably going to be their starting quarterback. They're talking about Aiden O'Connell. I think it's going to be Gardner Minshew, and Gardner Minshew almost led the Colts to the playoffs last year. So you better not sleep on Minshew mania.
he's won over Gardner Minshew. I kind of have a feeling that's going to flip.
I do too.
Look at this guy. Look at him showing up and taking these pictures.
They gave him a lot of
Something
guaranteed
about
money
Gardner
to not be the
Minshew,
back.
man.
Look at him taking
He
these
just
pictures in his
finds ways
first
to win
official
games.
Raiders headshots.
Look
These
at
are
that.
amazing. I mean, he's got a little bit of the snake. He's got a little of that in him, right?
I'll bet.
I don't know. I just love what Antonio Pierce cooked up last year. And Zamir White, he's going to be available in a lot of fantasy drafts for you to
You
grab.
see the picture of him recently?
No.
Yoked out of his
I bet.
mind.
He helped me make a fantasy final last year. Okay.
I respect Rich Eisen because he talks about the teams nobody else talks about. He's willing to. I've noticed his analysis is much more fair. In my
I kind of
just
dig
for
him,
the
and then
Titans,
Brock
but
Bowers.
for
I can't wait to see what he looks like.
Brock Bowers, yes.
Right,
That was a
and Max Crosby and the rest of that
sleeper pick
defense.
in round one for
Let's see what
Tyrese.
Antonio Pierce is cooking up.
Okay.
So
Nobody is
four?
talking about them. You're right.
Number 4, the
number
Titans.
4, I am very high on him, and it's because I believe in Sam Darnold. I like the Vikings here, man. I think nobody's
I don't know
talking
about
about the
that one.
Vikings. It's a team that won the division 2 years
I
ago.
don't know about
and
that
Justin
one, Rich.
Jefferson's coming back. And as long as Jordan Addison isn't a
I don't
knucklehead, to be
believe in
straight up
Sam
with you,
Darnold,
I
so-
love Aaron Jones, Hawkinson, and that offense.
Hawkinson's
If
respectable.
Darnold is cooking, I know that's a big if.
That's
I
a
get
big
it.
If.
You know, losing Danielle Hunter concerns me on the defensive side of the ball too. But they've got some weapons, and if Sam Darnold shows up,
in a division with Detroit and Green Bay, I mean, even Chicago's much more loaded with talent. If Caleb Williams can be good, I think this one's a stretch.
it could
Rich.
be. That's why they're sleeping, because you don't believe Sam Darnold is going to show up.
No, I
I don't know.
don't.
Need to see it.
I'm going with the Vikings on this list. Number 3
Is this us?
on this list. I mean, Devin McCourty mentioned them
Like I
earlier
said, I don't even know
when
if
he
the
was
Titans
referring
are
to
actually
how
on the list,
with Gerard
right? They're
Mayo, he
just
thinks the Patriots are going to be one of those teams that just is in every game, despite their roster, despite everybody not believing them. I like the Arizona Cardinals to be a sleeper team this year.
I'm with you on that one.
I like Kyler coming back.
Yep.
Obviously,
That's an interesting
Maserati
pick.
Marv.
Maserati.
To you,
I don't disagree with this though. If it can finally click for Kyler Murray, if it can finally click, I'm a big believer in Marvin. I'm not saying that like I would pick them to win the division because they're in a division with the Rams and the Niners. I mean, even the Seahawks are usually good. But I
Is the
could
Gus
see,
phrase?
Hopefully he performs better
I
than
could
Feller's
see them being a
Maserati.
sleeper team.
Pew.
There's only 2 teams left in Tennessee.
All right.
The purpose of the word of this
Defensively,
to be
like Sean Murphy
Tennessee's
Bunting is
mentioned.
back there. Max Melton's a couple
Sean
years
Murphy
in his
Bunting.
career. I like
Kind
the
of made it
back
sound like it
end
might be in a negative
of the
way.
defense.
So
They
may
Played
not even
really
be on the
hard
list.
last year.
They did.
They played really well.
You know, Zay Jones is also
So-
catching passes. Trey McBride is
Trey
one of your
McBride,
sleeper
beast
tight ends
tight
too.
end this year.
James
I know
Conner,
Zay Jones was there.
Yep.
and that running back room.
They're going to be better than people think.
Number 2 on this list.
Fair.
You don't believe in them. They're asleep. You were sleeping on them. I like the Washington Commanders
Yeah,
to really wake up, guys.
I'm down.
Okay, Jaden Daniels, despite
know
what the
if I
coach
see
is saying
that
that we need to see something before he's going to be named the starter, he's going to be your starting quarterback. Terry McLaurin is as good as they come in the National Football
I
League.
agree with that.
And
I like
love
Terry.
Austin Eckler with Brian Robinson Jr. And you know how DQ,
That's
Dan
not a
Quinn,
bad
can
running
rile
back
some
room,
people
right?
up. This team
Are Titans going to be number 1? Are Titans going to be
is
number 1
going to
on
be
this list?
good this year, folks. And I think they could make the playoffs. How does that sound?
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
The Commanders? All right,
Number
Rich.
1, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs because they're in a conference that's going to be real tough. But I'm going there. My number 1 sleeper team
You're doing it, aren't you?
for this year is the team that everybody thinks is going to lose to their team in the win-loss game. I'm going to Tennessee
Oh,
Titans.
listen to the laughter.
Lose to their team in the win-loss game. I'm going to Tennessee Titans.
You are.
I'll tell you what, I like Rich because every time he talks about the Titans, the other goofs on his show laugh in his face and he does not deal with it. He keeps a straight face. He's like, no, listen. And then he tells them like it is. Come on.
Okay.
I'm going to Tennessee Titans with Will Levis putting bananas and mayonnaise in his coffee, whatever the hell it
I'm
is.
sick of hearing about the mayonnaise. Come up with some original. This is not an indictment on Rich. I like Rich. But every time people talk about Titans, it's like, hey, mayonnaise in the coffee. Listen, he did it for TikTok. He didn't even really do it. It was all just a joke. And you guys need to find some original material.
Eating banana peels.
Oh, whatever it is,
Banana-
I don't
I think that was all bit.
The wide receiver
Thank
room.
you.
Calvin Ridley, D-Hop, and Tyler Boyd. And this guy, Brian Callahan, he's from the McVay tree, people.
Come on, Rich.
And his dad's there.
And his dad's
I'm
there
aboard,
coaching
running
up the
game.
offensive
Yeah,
line, a
line.
running game. I know everybody thinks Derrick Henry's gone. It's going to be garbage.
Well, y'all thought they were garbage with Derrick Henry. So,
Spears
and Pollard. Jeffrey Simmons.
come on, Rich.
That's number 1.
We call
Climb
that a wide
aboard.
open division?
I don't know about it, but I just think they're going to be better than you think.
Okay.
Do you think we need one more? All right, we'll get one
All right,
more.
here's the one more. Nobody's sleeping on the team, but they're potentially sleeping on how far they can go. The one more sleeper team of 2024 is the Chicago Bears making it to the NFC Championship game.
All right, Rich. That's where I'm going to click out on this one. I mean, the Titans are the definition of a team that could be asleep. I mean, I keep mentioning Houston from last year. People did not expect Houston. Some Texans fans are going to watch this and be like, oh, don't even compare apples and oranges. But what I'm saying is every year there's that team. At least one of them, but sometimes there's multiple teams who nobody expects to really be good. And then they're good. And last year, Houston was definitely the premier. I mean, Tampa Bay was another one last year. People did not expect these teams to be good, and they were. Why? Because, in the case of Houston, new coach, nobody really knows much about him as a head coach. New quarterback coming in, and Will Levis is not a rookie, but he's still a lot of unknowns about him. Houston had young talent. The Titans have more veteran talent and guys like Hopkins and Ridley and Snead. But they've made some big-time signings. I feel like a broken record. I almost say the same things in every video. The Titans have made some big-time signings that deserve some attention. Snead, Ridley, Cushenberry, Pollard. I mean, these are guys who can come in and make an impact and make a difference. Yes, we don't know what kind of coach Brian Callahan's going to be. He's a first-time coach. We don't know exactly where we stand with Will Levis. He showed some good. He showed some bad in the limited time he got. But you know what? It's a completely new offense. You talk about Derrick Henry. Those days are over. The days of running the ball 30 times a game are over. So, the Titans could potentially, I see what he means. Could they be a sleeper team? Could they be a team that's just better than you think they're going to be? Especially in a division where, Houston's got a lot of hype to live up to. They got a lot of hype to live up to. Not saying they can't. C.J. Stroud was a man's man in his rookie year, and so was D'Amico Ryans. And they got a lot of talent. I'm not saying their defense got better this offseason. I'm not saying Houston's not going to be good, but I'm just saying that's a lot of pressure for a young team. They're being picked to maybe be one of the biggest threats to the Chiefs in the AFC. That's a lot of pressure. Coming off of a very successful year one, a lot of pressure. Colts are an unknown with Anthony Richardson. I'm sick of acting like he's a sure thing. I will need to see him play in more than 2 games before I make that decision. I think a lot of people are iffy on Jacksonville too. So, who knows? Maybe the Titans could be a sleeper team. As far as the other teams you listed, I could see Arizona. I could see Vegas. Not sure on Minnesota and Washington. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Tighten up. Bye.